Do you believe in ghosts? Well, if you do, then this video is definitely for you. So many normal people have reported paranormal encounters, but who cares about them? Celebrities are so much more interesting. Hi, I'm V, and today I'm gonna be going through the top 5 terrifying celebrity ghost stories. Number 5, Miley Cyrus. In 2013, Miley Cyrus and her younger sister Noah rented an apartment to stay in London. Before staying there, Miley had actually been warned by the previous tenant that paranormal and supernatural occurrences were common incidents. I would assume that Miley did not take this warning with much legitimacy, but as soon as she started experiencing the oddities herself, she sang a different tune. While Miley was taking a shower, she noticed a young boy also in the bathroom, sitting on the sink and just staring at her. Creepy! The next night, again while taking a shower, the ghost reappeared, sitting on the sink again, but this time swinging his feet. Miley was also having strange dreams, which she said made the whole experience far more terrifying. Miley's sister had the same experience with the boy in the bathroom, which Miley knew because as Noah was taking a shower, she let out a blood-curdling screech. Miley walked in and the scream was not just from the boy. The shower knob turned on its own, heating up the shower to a burning, searing heat. By the time Miley got there, Noah's skin had turned red and irritated from the scalding water. Miley's aunt was the next person to notice the strange happenings in the apartment. She'd left for the day, locking the doors and windows behind her, but when she returned, every single door and every single window was wide open. She found this to be extremely unsettling. I mean, as I think anyone would. Miley Cyrus decided to conduct research on the property in the hopes that she would find an explanation for the strange hauntings they were all experiencing. She found that directly across the street from the house, there was a bakery run by a father and his young son, who both lived above the bakery. It was also discovered that the mother had passed away, leaving the father and son alone. Miley suspected that the son was haunting the house, possibly in search for his mother. They ended up leaving the apartment. Everyone who stayed there had a strange experience, and no one was too proud to admit that they were very, very scared. Number 4, Octavia Spencer. During her appearance on The Late Ellen Show, Octavia Spencer shared her experience of living with a friendly ghost, who she more than welcomes into her home. Octavia Spencer started by saying that she grew up watching Western movies, so when she was on the hunt for the purchase of a new home, she was thrilled to discover that one of her top houses had previously belonged to a man who acted in Westerns. She said that she was almost certainly a huge fan of his while he was alive. She said that the ghost is like her protector. He has a way of reading people's energy and intent far more accurately than any living person could. She described that he sorts out the bad people who shouldn't be at her house. She can tell when someone's energy is bad because when asked about the house, they'll say that it has a creepy or eerie energy to it, whilst those who have a good positive energy call the house cozy and welcoming. Octavia said that the only times her ghost messes with her is when she leaves for long periods of time. Then he becomes shady. His shade may consist of closing and opening doors or turning the lights on and off, in opposition of Octavia's wishes for the light's position. But Octavia loves her ghost. She made it clear that her ghost is the only ghost welcome in her home, stating, "I love my ghost. I just don't want you bringing your ghost to my house. I don't want anybody's ghost thinking they can be friends with my ghost. My ghost can haunt me, but he doesn't haunt me. We have boundaries." Honestly, it sounds like a pretty sweet setup. If I ever found a house with a chill ghost of a famous scientist or artist, I would probably never want to leave. And I would also have a lot more to say about it than Octavia. You wouldn't be able to make me stop talking. Number 3, Alyson Hannigan. Yet another celeb who doesn't mind their live-in ghost. In 2003, Alyson Hannigan spoke out about her experience living with a ghost. She lived with some roommates at the time, and none of them had encountered the ghost of the man many times, but when they did, they weren't alarmed because the ghost did not do anything strange or go out of his way to harm or scare them. Alyson said that he didn't scare her because he seemed to know his manners. In an interview, she explained the timeline of realizing she had a ghost living with her. She first saw him only a few weeks after moving in. She suspected that he did not pass away in the house, seeing as LA has a law that requires realtors to disclose deaths that occurred on the property. She was not exactly sure why the ghost decided to go in the house, but again, she really didn't mind. He didn't do much. She noticed him for the first time when a friend said to Alyson, "I don't mean to alarm you, but I just saw a man follow us out of the house." A usually terrifying statement, which Alyson responded to calmly calmly by saying, "Well, at least he's gentlemanly. He let us go first." Alyson saw the ghost again the same night. She first saw a silhouette of a man standing in the bathroom doorway, which she initially mistook for her fiance, but then she noticed that her fiance was asleep, so no, it wasn't him. Alyson went on to say that she wished to get his name, going so far as to say, "I'm thinking of putting a little chalkboard where I think he lives to see if he'll write his name down." Her being unafraid of ghosts definitely tracks, as her character was boosted significantly by her appearance in the supernatural show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So I suppose she's comfortable conversing and living with a ghost. I mean, me too. If he's not doing anything, he would be more than welcome to stay with me. I mean, it's a little rude that he invited himself in and didn't introduce himself, but whatever. All that mattered was that Alyson was alright with him. Number 2, Ariana Grande. This iconic pop star has definitely made a mark on pop culture since her early career on Nickelodeon's Victorious. In a 2013 interview with Complex, Ariana recalled a shocking ghost story that she had experienced shortly before. The interviewer first asked Ari if she believed in ghosts, to which Ari responded in a dry tone, "Of course, we'd be so stupid to believe we are the only people here." Then she began to talk about the experience she had with a ghost in Kansas City only a few weeks prior. She said that it was a demon or ghost experience when she had gone to a haunted castle, something she was really excited about. The next night, they decided to go to Stull Cemetery. This cemetery is located in a small, nearly abandoned Kansas town called Stull. Stories of witchcraft, ghosts, and supernatural events have plagued the graveyard. Some even claim that the Stull Cemetery is one of the 7 gateways to hell. Ariana said that the Pope wouldn't even fly over it. While they were driving into the area, Ari began to get a sick, overwhelming feeling of negativity. She saw a fly appear in the car, and the entire car started to smell of sulfur. The presence of flies and the smell of sulfur have been linked to the presence of demons, saying that some demons exhale sulfur, eat it, or use it as an ingredient to allow them to travel between realms. Ari decided that it was definitely not a good idea to stay, so she snapped a picture and they left, but she later noticed that the photo contained 3 distinct heads that resembled textbook demons. The next day, she tried to send the photo of the demon to her manager, but noticed that the file was unable to be sent and was exactly 666 megabytes. Shortly after, strange happenings began to plague the singer. She would hear loud rumbling in her ears when she closed her eyes, which turned into strange whispers. Then she started to see disturbing images when she closed her eyes. She also noticed a giant cloud of black matter beside her, so she called a friend who instructed Ari to, quote, "tell it to F off." But Ari decided to just ignore it and not feed it fear. The next morning it was gone, but a friend who stayed at her house the next night reported seeing the exact same thing, and that their body felt almost paralyzed. Number 1, Courtney Cox. Courtney Cox is definitely no stranger to the genre of horror, but she never expected that the on-screen, fictional genre that she starred in would translate into her real life. In an interview with Jimmy Kimmel, Courtney opened up about her paranormal experiences at the home she owned in Laurel Canyon, Los Angeles. When Courtney first purchased the home, the previous owner, Carole King, provided her with a warning. King said that there had been an ugly divorce in the home and that there was a ghost who currently haunted the property. At this point, Courtney firmly believed that ghosts were a fictional tale, so she blew off the warning, completely ignoring the caution that King had suggested she take. Courtney was still unrattled by her friend's warnings, who would claim that the ghost of a woman would sit at the edge of their bed while they were sleeping. But again, Courtney brushed off the warning. Courtney actually ended up participating in a seance in the house with Carole King, but even that wasn't enough to rattle her. Courtney didn't believe the house was haunted until a 30-second interaction with a UPS delivery driver. Courtney heard the doorbell ring and opened the door to receive her package. The employee asked her, "Did you know that this house is haunted?" Courtney, confused and a little frustrated by the constant warnings, replied, "Yes, why?" The UPS driver responded with 7 words that convinced Courtney to list her house that same day. He said, "Because there is someone standing behind you." I would have left the house along with the UPS driver, so I guess Courtney is still braver than me. That brings us to the end of this list. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today as I went over some celebs' terrifying paranormal stories. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I definitely hope you learned something. Stay curious. Bye!